All right, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to take a look at the core of algebra inside the SAT Math. These are some questions that I found interesting from the SAT Express as well as the SAT Math book for Barron's. Now, the first one, it says, what are the values of x if f of x equals to x squared minus 5x plus 4 equals to 0? This is a simple question because all it requires you to do is to factorize it, right? So you have to say what multiplies to 4 but adds up to actually negative 5, right? So what two numbers multiply to 4 but add up to negative 5? Well, what comes to mind is 4 times 1 is actually equal to 4. But if you add 4 plus 1, you don't get negative 5. You get positive 5. How about if you use negative 4 minus negative 5? Sorry, minus negative 1. Well, minus 4 minus 1 is going to give you negative 5. And if you multiply them, you get positive 4. So we're going to go ahead and open up two brackets. X minus 4 and x minus 1 equals to 0. And according to the zero product property, we can just say x equals to 4 and x equals to 1. So the correct answer is D, 1 and 4. Question number 8, it says if f of x equals to 6 plus 4 and g of x equals to x plus 3, find the value of f of g of negative 2. Okay, so first what you have to do is find the g of negative 2. That means you have to plug in negative 2 to g of x. So we're going to have g of minus 2 equals to x cubed, right? So that's going to be negative 2 to the power of 3. And negative 2 to the power of 3 is simply negative 8. So now you have to find the f of negative 8. That means you have to plug in negative 8 inside of f of x. So that's going to give you 6 times negative 8 plus 4. And we know that 6 times negative 8 is negative 48. And negative 48 plus 4 is simply going to be negative 44. A is the correct answer. When 4 times the number x is added to 18, so when you multiply 4 times by x, you add it to 18, you get 4. Okay, so right off the bat, I can just say what the x is. I can solve this for x. If I bring the 18 to the other side, I can find the x. But let's see what the question is asking. What number results when 2 times x is added to 9? So 2 times x plus 9 is added to each other. What number results? Well, if we assume that these two equations are like double the version, like for example, the one on the bottom is just divided by 2, then we can assume the answer here is also going to be divided by 2, and that's going to give us 2. So the correct answer here is actually just D. Another way of solving this, which takes more time, is to solve for x. So we're just going to solve for x here. You're going to get 4x equals to 4 minus 18. That's going to give you negative 14. And so x is just going to be negative 14 divided by 4. And that's going to give you x equals to negative 3.5. Okay, so now that you have the value of x, you can plug in the x inside of that equation. So 2 times negative 3.5 plus 9. And if you do that, you should roughly get 2. So 2 times negative 3.5, that's just going to be like negative 7. And negative 7 plus 9 is, guess what? 2. You can either do this way or you can do the first way, which might be easier, but it doesn't work all the time. Question number 5, it says the expression 4x minus 3 over x minus 2 is equivalent to which of the following? Now, you might want to go ahead and try to see if you can simplify this and whatever. And you can just see that D right away fits the sort of simplifying method, because if you multiply this whole equation by simply 3, you're going to get 12x minus 9 over 3x minus 6, which is exactly the correct answer. That's D. That's the fast way of doing it. But another way of doing it is you can actually assign a value for x. You can say x equals to, for example, 1. So if you plug that in inside of your original equation, you're going to get 4 times 1 minus 3 over 1 minus 2. So that's going to give you 4 minus 3 over negative 1. So that's going to give you 1 over negative 1. The answer is equal to what? Negative 1, right? Now let's plug in x inside of D to see if it fits our answer. Well, if you put 1 in here, you're going to get 12 times 1 minus 9 divided by 3 times 1 minus 6. Well, 12 times 1 is just 12. 12 minus 9 is going to give you, guess what? 10, 11, right? 12, so that's 3. And then 3 over negative 3 will give us what? Negative 1. So D is indeed the correct answer. There's two ways of doing it. You can either do the substitution with a assigned value of x, or you can just do it the first method that I showed you at the beginning. All right, now let's take a look at number 4. It says if x is equal to y multiplied by z, find the equivalent of z over y. Okay, so they're saying that x is equal to y multiplied by z, right? We can assign some values for y and z, something other than 1 and 0. So we can say y is, for example, 2 and z is 3. So x is going to be 2 times 3. That means the value of x is 6, right? Now that we know this, what is the value of z over y? Well, z is 3 and y is 2, right? So we just can say that z over y is simply 3 over 2. Okay, very nice. Let's see which of these choices actually equals to 3 over 2. The first one, we know x is 6. So 6 over y times z. So that's just 2 times 3. We're going to plug them in. We're going to get 6 over 6. Ain't no way that's equal to 3 over 2. A is off the hooks. X times y over z. Well, x equals to 6 times y, which is 2, gets divided by 3. That's again 12 over 3, which is 4. Doesn't work. For number C, or choice C, we have z squared. So 3 squared over x, which is 6. So that's going to be 9 over 6, which if simplified, if you divide both sides by 3, you're going to get 3 over 2, which means C is the correct answer. Now, let's take a look at these two last questions. A lot of people find them very confusing, but they're actually quite easy if you use the exponent rules. So first of all, here, you can just add all these numbers because all of them have the same sort of notation of exponents getting added up. So 2 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 5 is, 2 plus 3 is 5. And then 5 plus 5 is 10. 10 plus 6 is 16. So you get 16 times 4 to the power of x equals to, how many 4 to the power of 12s do we have there? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can just say that that's just 4 times 4 to the power of 12 on the other side. Now, we know 16 is 4 to the power of 2, right? So we can just cancel out the powers there. We can just cancel out this one with this one. We're going to get 4 to the power of 1. And 4 to the power of 1 gets canceled out with this one to give us 4 to the power of 11. So now we're left with 4 to the power of x equals to 4 to the power of 11. The 4's canceled out, and x equals to 11. Last but not least, it says if 3x minus 2y equals to 3 and x plus y equals to 1, then what is the value of x times y? Well, first, I'm going to use substitution. I'm going to say y here equals to 1 minus x, right? Once I find the value of y, I can plug this back inside of that equation. So I can write 3 times x minus 2 times y, which is 1 minus x, equals to 13. I can find the value of x now, right? I'm just going to erase the last question. By the way, if you're still watching, please support us. If you have any further questions, you can comment down below. I'm going to help you out, hopefully, in the future videos. Subscribe to us and share the video if it is helping you out by any way or means. So let's take a look at this question right now. It's going to give us 3x. We're going to have to expand this 2 with the bracket. So 3x minus 2 plus 2x equals to 13. We're going to get 5x minus 2 equals to 13. So 5x equals to 15 and x equals to 3. Because if you divide both sides, 15 divided by 5, guess what? It's equal to 3. So now we have the value of x. We can find the value of y. Y is going to be 1 minus 3, which is negative 2, right? If we plug x back in there, we're going to get 1 minus 3, which is negative 2. So now the question is asking us, what is the value of x times y? So we're going to have to multiply the x, which is 3, by y, which is negative 2. The answer is negative 6. That means choice A is the correct answer. So that's it for this video. Algebra is a really interesting part of the SAT math section. You just have to get good at you get good algebra by practicing. It's not like something that you can just gain in one day or you can study the night before and somehow randomly get a good score. You have to practice as much as you can, and you have to, really work on problems by yourself.